Oh yeah, okay, I gotta remove LinkedIn. It won't let me go live there. And I gotta remove Facebook too. All righty, we are live. Okay, I'm gonna put you backstage real quick, Leah. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to Coffee Tea, you and me with Coach Powell. Today's episode is super special. I'm coming to you from the mountains, the Appalachian Mountains. I'm up here in Massanutten, enjoying time in the Shenandoah Valley with my family and friends. And we have a beautiful suite up here. We're having a great time enjoying ourselves. And I'm so glad that you're able to join us and join me. I got a special guest backstage in the studio today. Oh my God. You know, I consider herself one of my fellow coaches. So, but financial guru, Leah Garcia is back, and she's going to be sharing some ideas with us as we go through our process. As you know, if you've been following what we've been doing, we've been on the last. This whole series is about benefits, benefits, benefits. Right? What are the benefits that we share with other people? What are the benefits that we receive with other people? And how do we use these benefits to really, really enhance our lives, our world, and everything around us? So that's the topic of today, and it's taken from my document that I created. It's called Benefits, 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 and More Tactics. These are leadership tactics that keep it real, right? These are things that all leaders kind of need to know, need to focus on, need to specialize in, and I'm updating that for our current reality. So I'm going to put the previous document in the chat for everybody. So in case you want to look for it, you can find it if you're watching us on YouTube or on LinkedIn or wherever you're watching us from. You can find this document. So I'm going to put it right there right now. Hold on a second. See if I get my act together. Nope, that didn't work. All right, first I gotta copy it before you move it, Coach Powell. You actually have to copy it. All righty, let's do that. Copy the link. Ha 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 ha. And then let's put it in the chat. For some reason, it's not working. But I will fix it sometime before we finish the episode today. That way, everybody will get the document. If you can't find the document in the LinkedIn profile, whatever you found the announcement for the show today, whether you found it on LinkedIn or YouTube or on Facebook, you should be able to get the link to the document that I shared earlier. But I want to also put it in the chat for you. So let's talk about what we're talking about today, just to give you guys a brief overview. We've been talking about benefits, why benefits are special, why benefits are important, why you should be able to articulate the benefits that you offer and the benefits that you'd like to receive so that when those benefits come together, both your offerings and the things you want to receive, you can put yourself in a great position to grow the way you want to grow, but also to share the benevolence that you have, right? To share, to become a benefactor for someone else. What does that look like? What does that mean to you? And to do it in a way that empowers them and you get empowered as well. And it's about sharing your gifts and sharing your talent in the wisest way. So today's particular episode, we're talking about excellence when it comes to benefits. What is excellence to you, right? What is it? What is the excellence that you provide to others, and what is the excellence that you need to be provided? Now, when you talk about excellence, you got to be careful. I will tell you that it's impossible to be perfect. Perfection is a pursuit, not a reality for most human beings. I'm going to say all human beings, but perfect is something that is sort of resigned for, you know, other than human beings when it comes to an idea. But as a concept, as an ideology, those who reach for perfection find themselves in the category of excellence, right? They find themselves in the category of greatness, right? It's above and beyond. It is more than is expected, but it's not necessarily perfect. So I would say perfection is something that you should pursue, but don't force yourself to try to attain it specifically in every area of your life at all times. If you're trying to be excellent everywhere, all the time, I will tell you that that's a challenge that I don't know a human being historically or in real time that's ever measured up to that. What I'm talking about is excellence in the context of what you're trying to do in the roles that you're trying to play. So if you're trying to be a husband, you want to be an excellent husband. If you're trying to be a wife, you want to be an excellent wife. If you're trying to be a business leader or a marketing expert or a social media driver or whatever it is you're trying to do with excellence, it means you're going above and beyond the norm. It means that you're exceeding expectations. It means that you're doing the most, right? When it comes to that. So I'm going to talk a lot about that in today's episode. But before we get to that, I want to introduce you to a lady in my book needs no introduction. She is an absolute genius when it comes to financial management, financial planning. She's a financial guru. She knows everything about all the little subtle details that you need to get in front of. If you get the chance to get her attention, her time, um, you'd be doing yourself a great favor because she is the advisor to the advisor. She's the consultant to the consultants. And she's all that, a bag of chips and a bowl of grits wrapped up into one little pretty package. And her name is Miss Leah Garcia. So I'm going to introduce you to Leah and let Leah tell you a little bit about herself before we continue on with the show. Don't forget to turn your mic on, Leah.
There we go. Humble gratitude, Coach Pal. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. It's always an honor to share the stage with you. Well, my name is Leah Garcia, financial strategist and insurance professional, and I specialize in helping business owners with 0 to 50 employees. I help them to protect, distribute, and transfer their wealth so they can build that legacy and create generational and multi-generational wealth. Folks, we've already had generational poverty. That hasn't worked out too well. How about we start creating that legacy, not just for us, but our children and our great grandchildren? And so that's what I wanted to share with you. I'm excited to be on the show. I love this talk about excellence. And when I think of excellence to me, I think of it as being congruent. A lot of times people talk about being authentic, and that kind of can get a little bit lost in the sauce. For me, I think of it as being congruent. Are my words, actions in alignment with each other? Am I doing what I say to do, right? Not do as I say as I do. So that's what I want to share.
Oh my God. You're stealing my thunder already. I'm gonna put you backstage before you steal more of my thunder. And we'll be back. You and I could come back and chop it up and share what we think about it with the people in a minute. Okay. She set the stage perfectly, guys. Excellence is truly about alignment, in every sense of the word. When you think about, what it means to be doing the things that you're supposed to be doing the right things at the right time with the right people, and I shared this with a client of mine even earlier today. The things that you seek will be the things that you find. So if you're searching for alignment in all of your activities, you're going to find it more often than if you're just taking for granted that it's going to show up mystically, magically, somehow, in some way, in some portion of your life. So thank you, Leah, for bringing that to the forefront because it's very true. When you think about excellence and the push towards excellence, there are things that we all need to do. But I want you to ask yourself as I share this opportunity, this information with you, in the back of your mind, ask, where do I need to demonstrate excellence in my life and my business? And where do I need to receive and become a beneficiary of excellence? Where do I need to provide excellence? And where do I need to receive excellence? As we opened up this conversation last week, we started talking about the four qualities of what we call foundational wealth. Now, why is foundational wealth an important understanding when we're talking about benefits, right? If you're talking about benefits, we're talking about receiving somebody has given and given to you or you're giving to someone else above and beyond what is required. You're giving something, and when you practicing benevolence and you're doing it in a respectful way, you are sharing out of your abundance to people that you feel are going to be useful beneficiaries of what you have to share, right? And vice versa. If somebody is giving you something, not something that you earned, something that you asked for, but something that you need because they felt like they wanted to, because they felt like they could, they had the ability to do so, they love to respect you, care for you, whatever it is that is driving the motives for them to give you or be a beneficiary for you, right? For you to be a benefactor to you and for you to be a beneficiary for them, what they're expecting back from you is gratitude. We spent the whole first portion of this series talking about gratitude, but we're going to now talk about what it looks like to deal with foundational wealth and how do you use these tools to become wealthy, and how do you use these tools to remain wealthy. Now, I'm not talking about wealth just in terms of money. I'm talking about wealth in terms of quality, character, and everything else that makes life wonderful, right? And these are the four qualities of foundational wealth. When you think about them and talk to them, when you're talking to wealthy people, when you're becoming a wealthy person, I want you to think about these four foundational qualities. One is respectability. We talked about that last week in detail, right? What does it mean to have the ability to be respected? Meaning, what does it mean to have the ability to be honored and held in high regard, but for something that you said or did? Because that's what respect is. Respect is honoring someone and holding them in high regard for some quality they have, something that they've shared, something they've said or done. You don't just give out blanket respect. It doesn't happen. Everybody isn't respectable in every category of their lives. People are respectable and they have respectability over very specific things. So don't think about this as general blanket respect. That's not what we're talking about. That doesn't exist really when you look at the definition of respect. And so think about being respectable. What are you doing to demonstrate that you are honorable and that you are worthy of being held in high regard by what specific people in what specific way? Think about that in your mind, right? Same thing for all of these qualities that we're going to share with you. Excellence. Excellence is simply the ability, the quality of being outstanding, the quality of being having some level of transcendence or supremacy in any category or individual concept or ideology you want to deal with, right? You offer only high quality in this area. You are distinct in this area. You have superiority, brilliance in this area. That's what it is to be excellent. We're going to talk in detail about what that looks like today. Next week, we're going to get into generosity. How do you use generosity as a tool to increase your capacity, to increase your commitment, to increase to broaden horizons and strengthen your possibilities just through being generous? How do you do that? How do you do that in a way that's respectful and mannerable and all those good things? We'll talk about that next week. And then the following week, we're going to talk about prudence. Because here's where that very real reality comes in. No matter what you do, if you're not prudent with what you do, you can't do it for a long period of time. You can't do it consistently, you can't do it regularly. And the four foundational qualities of wealth, I'm going to be honest with you, come to me straight from the Bible. That's right. The prophet Paul, who basically was known as the foundational leader of the Christian church as we know it, said in First Timothy chapter 6, verses 17 through 19, as for the rich in this present age, charge them not to be haughty, nor to set their hopes on the uncertainty of riches, but on God, who richly provides us with everything to enjoy. They are to do good, to be rich in good works, to be generous and ready to share, thus storing up treasure for themselves as a good foundation for the future, so that they may take hold of that which is truly life. Now, Paul said all these wonderful things. He was teaching Timothy how to talk to the wealthy people in his congregation and how to get the wealthy people in his congregation to do what they should be doing anyway. And that's where these four qualities of foundational wealth come from: being respectable, having respectability, having excellence, understanding excellence, how to use it, generosity, and finally prudence. Today, let's get into excellence. What do we mean by excellence? When we talk about excellence, when we use excellence, when we talk, what does it mean? What does it mean to be wealthy and excellence? And how do you benefit from both of these things? How do you benefit from it, and how do you become a benefactor for it? And how do you share it with other people? Very, very important stuff to understand. You're not going to be excellent or even considered excellent if you cannot communicate a clear vision. You can't offer people muddy ideas and muddy concepts in hopes of being excellent. It's just not going to work. They're not going to receive the excellence that that you're trying to drive. You have to be clear in that vision. People have to be have to understand where you're coming from, right? Now, by the way, a part of being understood, right, is being open and vulnerable to the truth of this experience that you're trying to drive, the culture you're trying to create, the opportunities you're trying to deliver to people. You can't hide things in secret. Also, be considered, open and transparent with your concepts or ideas. So you have to be able to share your vision, and the vision has to be clear. That's again, it's also biblical. Number two, when you talk about embracing excellence, you have to be able to set clear goals, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you, everyone you work with. What is the goal, even for every relationship that you have? A relationship that doesn't have any goals, I'm not sure it offers very, very much value or meaning. But when you define, like, this is the relationship that we have, and this is what we hope to achieve in this relationship at this particular time for this specific reason, and that goal is smart, right? It's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's relevant, and it's timely. Now you have something that you can work with, that people can see, and they can understand their role and how they play in the goal moving forward, whether that person is a collaborator of yours, or that person is a employee of yours, an investor of yours, a referral source of yours. These are all different relationships, but all should be engaged in some type of energy or goal related activity. Because if you just we're just having fun, then you're just having fun. But why not have fun and do great work at the same time? What's wrong with that? And I can tell you, everything is right with that, as a matter of fact. And I might tell you why if we get a chance to get through, but I got to get through this, the dialogue. Another thing in terms of excellence, and the people who are practicing excellence, people who receive excellence, are in touch with continuous learning. They encourage growth. They encourage learning in themselves and in others. Everybody around them tends to grow because of what they bring to the table. The excellence that you bring to the table helps other people see possibilities. It helps other people feel connected to their own development. It helps them, understand what they need to look for in a mentor, or what they need to look for in an advisor or a consultant or a coach or a friend even, right? All these things are important because as you're demonstrating excellence in what you do, you're actually setting the bar for their expectations of what's possible for them in their lives and in their business, right? So if you're going to be an excellent person, you can't do it by holding people back, right? You want to make sure that you encourage them, and then can encourage their learning as they grow, and by also embracing it in yourself, understanding and embracing that you are always a continuous ongoing project and you're not a finished product, right? Helps you continue to learn. The minute you start saying, well, you know, I don't want to do that, or I'm not going to be available to learn that, or I'm not, that's not going to, this interest that I should have, I really don't. So I'm just going to try to hold off and hold on to the old ways or the old thoughts and the old ways of doing things. That's not going to help you grow. That's going to help retard you, as a matter of fact, while everybody grows in front of you and around you. And if you try to hold everybody else back in that situation, then eventually you're going to be in big trouble because there's only so many times you can hold people back before they reject you, before they come against you in some way, shape, or form, and you don't want to do that. So if you want to maintain and stay on that wealth path that you're on, you have to embrace continuous learning, right? Number four, to continue to embrace excellence as a beneficiary and as a benefactor, right? You want to make sure that you foster strong relationships. When you foster strong relationships, a couple things happen. People give you the benefit of the doubt because they can trust you. They believe in you because you've shown yourself worthy of that belief. You're right. People who have strong relationships are always great in teams. They work well collaboratively. They communicate openly. They're easy to be with, around, and amongst. Why? Because they understand what the relationship means as well as what the task that we're assigned to or the goals that we're trying to get to also mean. And they're not separate and distinct, they're together, right? So if you value people, you need people to do work, you need to value people. If you know you need to be able to you need to be able to show people that you value them and you need to foster very strong relationships. All right, number five, if you really want to embrace excellence, meaning you want to understand how you become a beneficiary of excellence and how you become a benefactor of excellence, you got to recognize and reward excellence. Let me say this again. If you want to truly embrace excellence, both as a benefactor and as a beneficiary, you have to have the ability to recognize and reward excellence. When you find somebody has done something of high quality and high caliber, whether that's work or something that they've done in the community or something they've even done in their home, if you hear about it, no matter where you are, celebrate it, honor it, show it off, show them off, let them know other people like, oh, let me tell you something that somebody said to me. Now, I will tell you, it's easy for people to honor you if you learn to talk in stories versus these are just the facts. I wrote a piece called the art of the mastery of some kind of mastery art of storytelling. And I think it's very, very important that people learn how to tell stories because stories are memorable. Facts and figures, not necessarily so. No, it takes a certain kind of brain to remember fact after fact after fact after fact after fact. And most of us don't have it, right? And you don't even need stories allow us to hear the facts, but also visualize the impact of whatever the story is. So, and we can retell a story easily versus here's all the facts. So, if you really want to demonstrate and recognize and reward excellence, if you can repeat the story that you heard from them, or you can share their excellence in a story, then you're going to help basically broadcast their excellence to other people, and you're going to do a great job of helping create trust so that people understand that working with you is an opportunity to not just get the values, but also to be amongst greatness, because that's what excellence is, right? To be amongst the people who are transcendent, who bring loads of value to whatever situation they find themselves in. Oh, there's more. Number six, truly, if you're going to embrace excellence, again, you also have to be good at this feedback thing, right? You have to be good at sharing feedback as well as receiving feedback. Nothing works better for others than to be able to share the feedback that they have for you and have you appreciate that sharing of that feedback. In fact, it's even better when you ask for the feedback consistently and quickly. I always tell people, if you hear something I've said, if you hear something I'm going on and it hits you the wrong way, talk to me about it. Let's talk about it. Well, let's talk about what my intentions might have been when I said it before you go off, tweeting about it or, saying, oh, Coach Powell is a nut job or whatever that is. Why don't you talk to me about it? Let's see if we can't come to some understanding, even if you disagree, which there's room for that, but I always ask for feedback. I always want people to follow up on stuff. I tell people even in chat today, if there's an idea or concept that you heard that really sings with you, let me know. If there's something that takes you in the wrong direction that you're not sure of, again, let me know. I want the feedback because that's how I get better. And I'm in a continuous learning mode, right? I want to make sure I'm providing excellence. And if I'm not, I want to know when I'm not, or why I'm not, or how I'm not, to whoever is in my audience, or whoever I'm working with, whether I'm coaching them or working with them in a collaborative effort, whatever that is, I'm always searching for feedback. That's because I understand that as a powerful tool for me to become and maintain whatever wealth I'm able to develop in my life. Feedback is critical. Number seven, promoting innovation. Excellence is about the promotion of innovation. When you see people doing amazing things, how do you promote it? How do you share the amazing gifts that others offer you with the rest of the world? I like to think of myself as a Don King. Every once in a while, I'll find some of the most talented, wonderful individuals, and I try to make sure when I find them, I share them. I don't keep anybody a secret unless they tell me, you know what? I want to keep it undercover. I don't want anybody to know how great I am or how wonderful I am. Because I'm going to stand on the tallest mountain and I'm going to pronounce, from the highest hill that I found a genius. I found somebody who's great. I found somebody who's trustworthy, who you can benefit from. And I want to make sure you know. I don't keep anybody's secret, right? Because I want to be able to, I want to be excellent, right? I want to be able to promote innovation. The last thing I want to share with you when it comes to excellence is being able to prioritize well-being. People who understand excellence always, always, always focus on being able to do more. They're able to increase their capacity to do more. Why? They practice, they become more efficient, they become more effective, and not just in the area of their life that you're dealing with them, but in other area of their lives, so they can have work-life balance, so they can have supportive work environment, so they can create and generate, more and more all around them. That is super important to the excellence, to developing excellence. Now, there's so much more I could talk to you about when it comes to excellence, but I will tell you, and this is a statement that I totally believe in, and this is just me, right? I have faith in human beings, and I believe that if we are able to make the commitments that we need to make, and we can distinguish ourselves and generate a reputation of delivering brilliant performance by just choosing to, and then working towards the correct strategies and techniques, everything we want can come to us. Everything we need will be provided for us. But we've got to choose it. I just giving you at least 9 different or 8 different descriptions of excellence and ideas about excellence and how you can embrace excellence as both the beneficiary and as a benefactor. And that's all about where we're coming from when we talk about becoming what you need to become, right? Is embracing the values that you need to embrace. If you can't embrace the values that you need to embrace, it doesn't matter what levels of success you have, you can't keep it. But if you want to do it right and do it well and do it well from the beginning, the faster you embrace excellence, the faster you embrace these other 4 foundational wealth strategies, which include respectability, generosity, and prudence, the better you're going to be. Now, next week, we're going to get into details about generosity and what that's going to get for you. Right now, just focus on excellence. And I did find the document that I put in the chat. It's not updated with the latest, greatest, newest information yet, but definitely is a good read and something that will empower you. I will continue to update the strategy and so on and so forth. So if you want the new document, as I won't be finished until I finish this series, probably a couple weeks after that. But I always continue to update all my training and development documents and strategies all the time. But if you have an idea about excellence that you want to share, if you have a thought about it that you think is prolific and interesting, definitely let me know. Next week's uh, program will still be on at the same time next week, but it will be pre-recorded. So I'll probably record that, very soon, and it'll be just me, and we won't be able to give you the benefit of all my wonderful coaches and all my guest speakers and all that kind of stuff. But today, I still got her backstage and in the studio. I'm going to bring up Leah again, and Leah's going to share with us anything she wants to share. You know, um, You gotta, you gotta,
Yep.
you gotta
Sorry.
unmute yourself.
I,
Go ahead.
what I can say is wow, wow, wow. I come here as a speaker, but really I come here as a student. And I just really believe that the speaker learns the most. And I believe that how you do something is how you do everything. My mentor said that to me, one of my first mentors years ago. And he said, you can't come up here and try to be a leader and give all this rah rah and positivity and then go home and kick the cat and yell at the kids and battle with your wife. Like that's being he was a man, okay? but but he's like that's not being congruent. So how you show up here is how you have to show up in life. And one thing that really came to my mind as you were speaking, Coach Powell, is you were talking about recognizing and rewarding excellence. We've all been recognized most often in our life for things that we didn't do correctly. We got scolded when we didn't listen to our parents and do our chores. Our boss recognizes us when we show up late and we don't complete the work on time. But I think it's so critical that we do recognize what we want to see in that excellence. My precious grandson's five and a
Mm-hmm.
half years old, and he knows that I expect him to put his shoes away properly when he comes home. And he probably doesn't do it all the time when I'm not there, but when I'm there, he knows what do? I model it, and then he sees me, he puts his shoes away properly, and then I reward him. Oh, good job, Miho. I'm so proud of you. Look at how you paid attention to detail and put your shoes away properly. Now, this might seem like some minor little thing, but what am I doing? I'm rewarding the excellence, the attention to detail, because how we do something is how we do everything. If he comes home, he throws his shoes, he throws this, throws his backpack, then is he going to respect the other things that he has in his life? So I love that point. That was so critical. I mean, all of it was so great, but that was something that really stood out with me. And I want to recognize, if I can, really quick, Mr. David Jones from the Hello LLC. He's joining us, and he says, "Yes, we can do anything if we believe in ourselves." And I absolutely, that is so critical. Believing in ourselves is key. But when we're incongruent, I'm going to go back to that, then we lose faith in ourselves. And what I mean by that is when we don't keep the promises that we make to ourselves, when we tell ourselves we're going to do a certain thing, we're going to get up at a certain time, we're going to go to the gym, we are incongruent with ourselves, and it's a difficult time for us to believe in ourselves. So
You know,
that's
Dr.
what I wanted to
Covey,
share.
Dr. Covey when I spent so much time with him before he passed away, and I love that man. Um, he would say, trust, the first level of trust is integrity,
Yeah.
and that is self-trust. And the question he would ask is, do you keep the promises that you make to yourself? Right? And that goes along lines with a lot with what you're saying. If you can keep the promises that you make to yourself, then you have a relevant claim to ask others to trust you,
Yeah.
right? If you can't keep the promises you're making with yourself, you're outside of integrity, right? You don't have integrity. And so trust is based on integrity, right? If you have it, you shouldn't have to really shout to the top of hills, I'm trustworthy, right? It should show up in every action or things that you do. So if you need investors to trust you, you need to act in a way that investors need to see you act so they will trust you. If you need referral sources to trust you, you need to act in a way that they will see that you. Now, the thing about that is we all have a different level or understanding of what trust is.
Mm.
Right? If I want to trust you to give me, say, a referral to someone you have the highest amount of respect for professionally, right? Then there's a specific thing that I have to say or do consistently and regularly enough for you to trust me in that regard, for me to honor that trust, right? I'm not saying that I'm not there already. I'm just saying that I need to hit the right buttons in order for you in order for you to trust me to do that. But who knows what those buttons are better than you,
Right.
right? So if I say, Leah, I want this kind of trust. I want you to trust me this much. I want you to trust me enough to introduce me to your greatest mentors, the people that you think you're the highest amount of respect for. I want you to trust me enough to introduce me to those people, right? I probably should go, okay, Leah, what do I have to show you, do for you, or share with you in order to earn that trust? Because I can't take it for granted that I have it, and it's much better if I just ask for it. And I'm not saying people make the declaration all the time, just trust me.
Right.
That's not enough. That doesn't
No.
get you there, especially with people who I teach a program called Leverage Up. So and I mean by leverage up is mean I means leveraging the time, talent, and treasure of people that you really look up to,
Yeah.
right? They're not you can't just say trust me to them,
No.
especially if they don't know you, that they don't know your character. But if you ask for the trust and you perform what they ask you to perform in order to earn the trust, then they have a higher likelihood of giving you the trust that you want, the trust that you ask for. So when we talk about Leah, and I'm gonna give you an example to either to elevate what you were saying earlier. When you're talking about really finding that alignment, I really love that you shared that with us. And being an excellent person as a result of that. Talk to us about what it means for you when you know you've arrived at excellence with somebody else.
With somebody else? Wow.
Hmm.
You know what? I've had this experience recently, and it truly was very humbling. And I say this with all humility, truly. You know that you are in alignment when you are having congruency, when other people begin to introduce you to spaces and places that you've never been. I had this experience recently where I entered into a space and someone that I did not know, wasn't aware, knew me, right? I had seen her name here and there, Miss Erica Harris. I'm going to give her a shout out. And she edified me in her own space and introduced me in a way that was absolutely incredible. And even now I get tingles because I thought, wow, okay, I'm I'm having an impact. My mentor taught me it's no longer who we know, it is who knows us. And when those people who know you start to introduce you into other places, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. I am so, so grateful for you, Coach Pal, for giving me this platform to share. But I've had so many incredible people pour into me and believe in me and introduce me into other spaces and places. And I think that when we do that, the key is we have to stay in alignment. We got to stay congruent. Now I know I have to do even more. Now I'm like, okay, now what else can I do? How else can I bring value? What else? Where else? What other things can I do to inspire my community?
So basically, she's basically parroting back what I shared with you guys earlier in a much better way than I said it. But let me see if I can share it with you in a way that may resonate. If you want excellence coming to you have to offer excellence. And what you do when you offer excellence is you create spaces for that to come back to you, and then you expand your territory, right? You become even greater. You become even more, not just because somebody else expects you to, because you're honor bound by, you know, understanding what has happened around you already. You go, oh my God, if and is a good example that I'll share with you. On my LinkedIn profile, I have over 200 testimonials or recommendations that other people have written about me. I didn't write them. They're sharing. their thoughts and their ideas about how and what they experienced when they experienced and encountered me.
Yeah.
Now, you want to talk about humbling. You want to talk about, you know, people ask me, well, why do you do this coffee to you and me every single week? Why do you do it without fail? Why do you do it consistently? And I say, well, you do you know what other people have done and said about me?
Right.
Because, trying to keep up with the brand that I've already created, right, drives me to do more, to be better, to be more consistent, to be more regular. And so I do it. I learn almost because, and I grow almost because there's a demand for me to grow from the
Yes.
people that I've already touched in some way, shape, or form. And they're saying, this is what you can count on from Coach Powell. So I'm becoming what I put out there, and I'm put out there what I'm becoming. And one area feeds the other area, and it continues. So as I am blessed with people who will give me the feedback I need to become excellent and become even better, I become even better, and I bless others with that because I empower them to become better and greater. And it just keeps on going and keeps on going. It's a never unfolding opportunity. Now, if I take the time to allow negativity in my world, when I don't have to, by the way, if I take that time to let that negativity into my world, then the opposite is going to begin to happen.
Right.
I'm going to attract more negativity. I'm not going to attract excellence. I'm going to attract, you know, people who complaining and worried and scared and fearful and doubting and da 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 da. So, and it's true. I used to hear these motivational speakers all the time talking about making your contribution to the society and the world, and how if you do that, you're going to become a better person, and other people are going to become better, and you're going to become better. And I used to go, okay, that sounds like a whole bunch of woo woo stuff,
Right.
but it's not woo woo stuff.
Yeah.
It's reality. And the more you focus on abundance, the more you focus on becoming a benevolent person, and again, do it with prudence. We're going to get into that in a couple of weeks, but do it with a level of discernment, right? You can, I can promise you this: nothing but good is going to come back to you.
Right.
Nothing. And you continue to sow good seeds into the world, and the world will sow even greater seeds back into your life. It's just over and over again. It's been proven over and over again. And I'll leave you guys with one last thought. Then I'll put Leah backstage, and we're gonna close the show out. The current research on success allows us to understand a couple of truths. One, people who are successful and they're driving towards success, and that is their main focus, can be happy every once in a while. But people who are happy and they're focusing on happiness, right, are going to be successful all the time. So if you ask yourself, if you say to yourself, I want to be successful all the time, then clearly, and this is factual, data-driven information. I promise you, there's tons of research behind this. It's new research based on the new neurological research and how we're handling emotional intelligence and wellness and well-being and all that kind of stuff. But I promise you that if you focus on happiness, you're going to find that the more you achieve happiness, the more successful you're going to be. And the more you'll be able to sustain and maintain that success. But if you just focus on success, then happiness is going to become this fleeting thing, because you think that success will create happiness, but it doesn't. Happiness creates success over and over and over and over and over and over again. All right. So I'm going to put Leah backstage. Leah, is there any last final words you want to share with everybody?
Yeah, just definitely. This is so powerful. So many golden nuggets. I hope everybody came here with a pad and pencil and, took a bunch of golden nuggets and really it's, I'm going to go back to just being congruent, being in alignment, and understanding that there's always another level. What looks like being congruent and excellence today, in 6 months, you're going to say, "Oh, I can't even believe I was doing that." And it should happen that way because that means that what we're growing. So thank you again,
Growing.
Coach
Oh,
Powell. It's a pleasure and honor to be with you here today. And I will see all of you at the top because we all know it's way too crowded at the bottom.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Leah, for coming on. Thank you for being just you and blessing us with the jewels. I mean, you was dropping some jewels today, my friend. I really appreciate it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Those of you on the listening audience, if you want to get in contact with me, you want to get in contact with Leah, just reach out to us. We're not that hard to find, but you're gonna have to reach out to us. We're not coming to you. So reach out and we'll definitely respond and be with you. Thank you, David, and everybody else who came to the show today. It was really excellent to have you. Excellent to be here. I'm sorry I posted the wrong time on the show, but thank you, Leah, for opening it up, and we found some new friends as a result of doing that. So I really appreciate you for that. Um, this show, like all my shows and everything I do, is really dedicated to small women and minority owned businesses to make sure that they have all of the effort, all the energy, all the passion that they need to and fuel and inspire the greatness that is within each and every one of them. And I truly believe, and as I said this earlier, greatness is possibility for every single person on the planet. All you have to do is reach out and embrace it and touch it. At Coach Power Training and Development, we focus on purposeful living. We focus on creating high energy, and we focus on generating the kind of focus, the correct amount of focus that you need to have in order to do the best that you possibly can do. And if you know anybody out there as a small business leader that's looking for a great coach, look no further. You found Coach Power. And I'm be more than happy to help you, more than happy to refer you, more than happy to help you get alignment with all the things that you need to do in order for you to embrace your inner greatness. Okay, having said that, I'm going to say bye bye to the show. If anybody has any questions, feel free to put that information in the chat. Feel free to share whatever you want to have. This is a business friendly environment. And so if you have an announcement to make, if you have something that you want to share with our listening audience, feel free to put that on the chat, whether you're watching us on YouTube or LinkedIn. This program will be rerun. Basically, people are going to be able to see everything we put in the chat and everything back in for forever. So as long as it's out there, they'll be able to see you. So if you have contact information you want to put out there, put it out there. Don't be afraid to share your greatness with others, because if you don't announce it, you don't share it, then whose fault is that? It won't be mine. We're giving you the platform. And so you can do it for you. You can do it for yourself. Put the links in to people that contact you. Put the links in for any events or any discounts or programs you got going on that you want to share. Put them in the chat. Again, it's a business friendly environment, and don't keep us a secret. By the way, every Friday from the hours of 3 to 5 East Coast time, right? We are here and available and able to communicate and conduct ourselves in some good business fashion. I look forward to talking to you all at a later date. I'm going to end the show and I say goodbye. And it's been a great time. Thank you very much for everybody. They're going to let me in the stream. There we go.